Yo, 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 yo. It is that time again. It is that time. Back at it again, trying to get this weekly weekend analysis out for you guys. Yes, yes. I know I do remember on the compare and contrast video I said I was gonna break down this AU chart and I forgot to put it on there. So I'm gonna start this weekend analysis off breaking down the AU trades and the AU chart and then hopefully at the end, I won't forget this time to go back and reanalyze this. Or, you know what? If you come back to tomorrow's show, you'll get the live chart reanalyzation of AU. So tonight, or for this video, what I'll do is I'll break down the trades, why I got in and where. I'll go through and then do a weekend analysis on the other pairs I got here: Bitcoin, GJ, GU, NU, UJ, Gold, SPX, and NAS. And then if you come back on Monday, you'll get to see how AU new market chart analysis looks, and then we'll go from there. But starting off with AU pre-market weekend video from 2 weekends ago. Price action was back in over here. If you throw on that bar replay, you say, okay, well, we come into the charts, we're trying to see what can potentially happen, or what do we think the market's potentially going, based off our higher time frame analysis. And based off what we got was on the weekly time frame, still in bar replay mode, price action is pushing up into a resistance based off the weekly. On the daily, this price action is kind of choppy. Overall, kind of like I say down on my smaller time frames, when I see that compressed tight price action, equal highs, equal lows. In this case, it will be equal highs. I expect big bars to break through those levels. When price action comes back the other direction, so because a lot of liquidity resting behind those levels. And as you can see, these first few levels got this big, gigantic bar breaking through all those highs. I think what we are in right now, potentially retestment phase or exhaustion phase to push the market higher. Like I said, on the weekly, we are currently retesting the resistance. This is on bar replay mode. Yeah, okay. So yeah, what we going or the idea going into last week's price action was to see if price action was going to pull back even more, or if it was just going to allow this right here to be the retracement for last week or 2 weeks ago, and then push higher. So let's see. Try not to get confused on here, trying to explain all that. But as we can see, we got the daily supply area that pushes down here into demand. We got demand developing right down here, push back into supply. On 4 hour, what we just said was pull back, or what we would have been looking for is on the 4 hour, we got right over here where you got a support, and we've also got the resistance right up here. So we would have that identified. Something like this, and then the high would have been real ugly to mark, but yeah, it originally started off like that, but then went to the 1 hour. We identified that zone even better, and then 4 hour, whatever, man. So the thought process here would have been okay. Price action is bullish. We have pushed and created a new high on the 4 hour time frame. We came back and retested before the market closed a week ago. So what we want to see is this price action pull back even further into the 4 hour support before pushing bullish, or do we just come out and continue to go bullish? So if price action open here, first candle goes bearish, pushes into support on the 1 hour time frame. And while I was watching this live, I saw price action come down, pull back, and then start to break the low where support was created on the 15-minute structure. I took the sale into the 4 hour support. TP1 was there, looking to see if we could reach all the way down here to the level we had identified from the higher time frames to take profits. I think that's what we would have been targeting. Something like that. All right. So as price played on, came down, smashed through. I don't know why this is identified right there, but I guess, or maybe this is why I had trail stops after we got out. It broke through. Yeah, but either way, that's what it was. Right now, I can't tell you why that was a target for me, but And a lot of time back then it made sense, and I got in and got, that was the first initial trade. Until coming into Sunday night, Asian session market open. And then from there, that range, let's see, do we develop? This would still be the high. Before, make it better sense. So at this point, we had the high. We broke structure on the 1 hour chart. So at this point, had the first sale hit TP. Right now, we're pretty much waiting to see if we are breaking structure back to the downside to create lower lows and lower highs, or if this was just potentially this price action pushing back down to fill this range / liquidity grab on the lower time frame to push price higher. So on the 1 hour time, or you bring the market analysis back. And this is the Asian session, so that would have been my trade for the night. So then what we do is speed up to the next Asian session and see how price action played out. And let's see here. Yep, we'll be right back at the Asian session right here. One more candle. All right, so cool. So now, for the most part, the high area is up here on the 4 hour chart. What we're looking at is to see if price action is going to break through this 4 hour high, and then we got the 4 hour support down here. At this point, I probably would have adjusted this, so this level will look like something like this. Back to the 1 hour, back to the 15. All right, well, probably look better on the 1 hour. All right, so on the 1 hour, what we had was price action pushed down, or Asian session opened up, created a low for the week. We retraced throughout the London back to the previous structural highs, looking left. So when we came back to the Asian session, the thought idea was I've seen this price action here before. Price action throughout the Asian session doesn't necessarily push bullish and continue a trend. It more or less will do a liquidity grab to the highs and then drop to retest the structure to the low side. So coming into it, I didn't have the liquidity grab take place for a little while. So ultimately, let me see. No, wait. This first short, yeah. I think, is that it? This might have been the trade that I got into. Yeah, I think I got into this trade during the New York session. And what I had was price action was bullish or consolidating throughout the New York session. What I was looking for was price action to retest these New York lows and then see if we was going to continue back into the 4 hour support throughout the Asian session. So when you hit that bar replay, what happened was the session came down, we manipulated, got stopped out. I entered this trade throughout the New York session. So during the Asian session, I hadn't yet taken the trade yet. And in the back of my mind, like I said, when Asian session come to when we opened up and we're at up against support or resistance, generally the Asian session will manipulate that level and then come right back into it. So once I saw this price action here play out, that was the idea for the second trade that I got into. And once we started to break the low here, I was in, and for the most part. Yeah, that was it. That trade I did ended up playing out. Trying to see how did I close this one. I don't know what I was targeting again. Let's go back to the 1 hour. Potentially show the nope. Oh, okay, yeah. So I was targeting this support right down here. Didn't actually make it. I think I ended up closing somewhere throughout the New York session. Once I actually saw a price action breakdown here, I might have even, let me see. Yeah. So price action came down. Yeah, throughout the New York session, saw it not failing to be able to break that New York low. And at that point, I would have had trailing stops right above here. Yeah, price action not being able to continue and would have been trailed out somewhere right over here. So that was that trade idea. And then the next one, pretty much the same thing. What did I just do? So this high back in over here, and this support is still pretty much active from this low point here. We pretty much pushed and broken above this high. It was a liquidity grab during the Asian session, but overall it was a higher high on the higher time frames. And what we can see once we get back to the Asian session is, yeah, okay, we're right here pretty much in the open of the Asian session. So what we're looking for is price action came down here, broke structure looking left on the hourly chart. We pushed back up. We only grabbed liquidity at this point on the higher time frames from this high. So now we're going to see or wait for to see if we're going to continue to go bullish. What we want to see is price action shift and go back bullish on the lower time frames and the 15-minute time frames, or if it's going to pull back and go bearish. I kind of considered this price action was high, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low, lower, high, lower, low. So when I saw this impulsive move, I kind of thought, this was the shift. And then when we pulled back, this right here, pretty much was a retest. So as we came up here, in my mind, I thought we was going to continue to trend the bullish trend. So, and there was news right here as well. So Asian open here. Go forward to where the news was. That's where we at. So as price action continued to make higher highs and higher lows throughout the Asian session open, I thought we were going to just impulse to the highs. When that news came out, because I thought the way I read the news, the way I understood it, that potentially we was on the right side for price action for a positive play out for the when the news came out. And as you can see, news came out, melted both my stop losses. I was so upset. But just kind of step back and watch how the price action played out. I can't remember. I don't think it was here, but it was during the New York session. Was where I came back and started to re-identify some levels. Started to re-identify some targets, and I made some of this money back right in over here. I don't know why it's not plotted on the charts, but overall, what happened was price action pushed up to the next Asian session, and we pretty much got that same opening that we had back in over here. New York created a high. The Asian session came out, consolidating in New York session created a low, created the high. The Asian session is right up against that 4-hour resistance as it opened. So instead of getting in early there at the end of the New York session thinking price action was going to pull back, I waited for later throughout the Asian session for price action to push back or to manipulate and then drop lower. And as you can see, this was the price action that we had. Weren't really interested in any of this. What I was paying attention to was this wick that this New York session left. So I had me an entry at the close of this bullish candle, and then based off the higher time frames that I found looking left, I had stops right above that level because I didn't know how far price action was going to manipulate above this high, and then I had targets. I think it was 50% of this impulsive move here. As you can see, price action came and entered me in. I was not at the charts. This was a sell limit I had in. Um, and overall, it was just a good play out. But one of the things I was looking for, or I was expecting to see out of the Asian, or the things that I needed to see from the Asian was how far of a retracement was the Asian session going to provide from this impulsive move from the NY low to the NY high. For the most part, you didn't really get too much of nothing but a consolidation. But from the previous night session, I had my zones marked up of where I was looking for price action to pull back to. As price action pushed up, this is a retracement. I kind of was looking for it during the Asian. It didn't happen. It happened during the London. So we retraced to this area. And once I saw price action get to this area and no longer continue to make lower lows and lower highs, I was in and ready to trade. I actually did have a buy limit set here. So I have a trade. I took a trade here that went and smashed TP immediately. That's not plotted here on the charts. And then when price action came back down and then shifted the price action back bullish on the 15-minute, I took another few positions right over there. So at this point, I was in a position here, and then when it came back down again, I got into another position right over here, and all of those smashed up to PP. And like I said, the thought process and psychology behind these trades were that this impulsive move right here was going to pull back to a certain location within the market, and we were looking to buy from that market. The first buy limit took off, got out of that position, and then opened these three right over here. Because of the timing within the market, price action was pushing throughout the New York session. I closed two positions right over here before market close on the before market close whatever day that was throughout the week. So two positions was closed. I left a runner, and the runner hit TP during the agent session, and throughout the agent session is where I found my next setup. Um, Pretty much we were above the NY high with the Asian high. This time it was kind of different from the setups that we saw earlier within the week. Previously, before we had the New York high and the Asian session was, or potentially had the chance to break through it. Same thing right over here. New York session, Asian session had a potential to break through it. Right here, we already kind of opened up above it. So at this point, I was looking for price action to continue above this 4 hour resistance outlined in the black. And we had a good bit of liquidity started to build up behind this NY high and this London high, with them having equal highs there. So I had the range identified back in over here, 16 pips. And then if we pushed all the way up to that higher time frame resistance that I outlined looking left earlier with this trade, then that was going to be full TPs. And as you can see, once the price action shifted bullish on the AU session, was in there like swimwear. So right up in over here, I think I got in. Price action pull back, push, pull back, and then pushed again. Um, yeah, smashed up TP. So um, that was all. That was a couple of cluster little trades that I had right up in there, all back together. That had some pretty good risk to rewards, and also had some pretty good trade results. From there, I think I had three positions open here. From there, once all those hit TPs, I didn't have any runners left. So ultimately just pushed on and wanted to see what was going to happen throughout the New York session. I did have an idea from here, but I walked away from my charts and I missed the shorts here. So once price action came back up and stalled back out at this level here, I tried to take a short and I didn't hold it for long because it was on Friday and I got cooked. I saw price action come up and retrace. One of the things I did overlook was there was a support created right here. We tried to push through that support and failed. And then I think I entered coming down right here and walked away from it. Then when I came back, stop losses were hit. Man, woo, I was looking for it to come back down and retest that low. So um, I know that was a little bit long and quite adventurous to try to explain, but overall, yeah. One of the things from last week's price action that stood out the most was the Asian session pump faking those New York highs, pump faking those 4 hour resistances, only grabbing liquidity to push price lower. And that setup pretty much showed up twice within the market. So the second time that I saw it last week, it was real easy to identify, real easy to get into that trade. And then from this impulsive move, this setup right over here was pretty beneficial. Um, yeah, overall, it's pretty good week. 5 and 4 on ideas. So, switching over to Bitcoin. Switching over that 1 hour view. From the higher time frames, let's see what we got going. From the higher time frames, overall price action is bearish. Currently, this is looks like corrective price action pushing back into. This was the first resistance that I identified that we closed above and retrace. After we closed above this resistance, we did retrace a good bit, but we did not close below the support that pushed us into those highs. So at this point, we are now pushing back into um, the highs, and we have currently closed above resistance. So one thing I would look for on the lower time frames for our 1 hour 30 minute is evidence of, does price action look like it's going to pull back and retrace again, or does it look like it's building up to continue to give you higher highs and higher lows? So when you bring the analysis back, this is the lower high that pushes into the lows on the daily chart. Theoretically, we could identify that one. Um, but on a higher time frame, I think on a weekly, that level doesn't really exist. So that's why we took this level and identified that level down to the bottom. Either way, I think it ends you up in the same result, because if we had this level here identified as a daily high zone, we've already closed above that level. And what you have at this point is we've marked this 4 hour support and 4 hour resistance, like I would explain next, either way, and it will still end up in the same direction. So if we take this daily if we take this daily supply, this daily demand, potentially if you did mark this one though, then you would be having a thought process or psychology of saying that Bitcoin is now bullish and it's going bullish. I don't really have that same psychology and thought process. I still think Bitcoin has another drop all the way down to the 10K area, but I ultimately see this as a retracement to continue bearish. But we're gonna see what happens. I think we got a little bit of time before we get back into these highs if we make it to those highs. But for right now, we're just gonna see what's popping off right now in the market. But overall, BTC is bullish. Um, right here, I got a 4-hour support, 4-hour high identified. What I'll be looking for is to see how price action reacts after touching this 1-hour support multiple times. We've already got good reactions after pushing down into the zone. We were able to create a new high on lower time frames. We came back to retest this level again, but we aren't really pushing up as bullish as I would like to see to say that Bitcoin's ultimately going to go bullish from right here. So if we break below this 1-hour support, potentially we could have some clean range right there on the left, retracing back to that 22,700 level. That could potentially be a trade idea. A lot of it depends on what happens right up into this consolidation area right here. So I'll wait for a breakout and then see what price action does from there. I know I have continuation buys above there, but this range might not be big enough for continuation buys. So something like breaking above, come back and retest, and then buy through. Would be a bullish outlook on Bitcoin, but I ultimately feel like a retracement is going to come back to something like this level down here. You know what I'm saying? Break through that 1-hour support, retest this level, or even this level before continuing to go higher. So we're going to see. We're going to see. Ultimately, first, this level doesn't even show up on the 4-hour chart. So ultimately, there's a level backing up here. The hold up. Come on. There we go. All right, so that 28,183. If we don't get shut down right here in the middle, around 25,593. So we're gonna see what Bitcoin want to do for us. It's gonna pull back and give us a retracement entry, or if it's gonna continue to break highs, then pull back and show us where it wants to go. Pushing over to GJ. On GJ, we identified last week with the price action. Looking at it from a high time frame perspective on down, we were consolidating. Seeing as how we starting a new month, starting tomorrow. I would actually bump out to the monthly and see if there are any zones that are lining up that make sense. For the most part with GJ, ultimately we're just big bullish. We have closed above most recent resistance. Well, not necessarily. Well, yeah, okay. We have closed above most recent resistance looking left. So ultimately what I'll be looking for is price action gonna pull back and possibly wick fill this big week right here before pushing bullish, or if we start closing below structure right down here, it's gonna continue to make lower lows, lower highs back into the lows and get back active that way. But this is the monthly time frame, so it's a good ways away. So when you go down to that weekly time frame, you see how you can line up some confluence. You can say, okay, well, we got highs backing over here. This could be a retracement move. This impulse moving to the high. So we want to see on the lower time frames how this area right here lines up as far as a retracement move to the downside before pushing back bullish, or does the structure look like it's ready to shift to continue to go bearish to retest this support, and then if we break through there, continue back down into these zones. So on GJ overall, what we see on the higher time frame is pretty much consolidated market. As you go down to the daily, it kind of expands on that consolidated market. When you bring back the analysis kind of outlines the consolidation of the market. When you go down to the 4-hour chart, what you can see is currently on that consolidation, price action is creating lower lows and lower highs. And another way that I kind of identify or see if price action is trending or consolidating or whatever it's doing is about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we got a weekly low with a weekly high. The following week created a weekly high and a weekly low. So overall, price action is trending in a bullish manner. The next week gave you a weekly high, but then started to break structure looking left and gave you a weekly low. So at this point, what I'm looking for within this consolidation zone is, does price action maybe pull back again, retest 4-hour resistance? If it does, closing above 162, about that 650 area. Potentially could have buys back into 163,750 area as a retracement trade, or if price action is just going to continue this bearish trend, allow this area to be a lower high in the market and continue to go bearish down into the lows of that consolidation zone. Overall, that I will let GJ show its hand first. I mean, let it do all the liquidity grabs, all the fake outs, let it close above a structural level, let it show you where it wants to go, because right up in here, you're going to get cracked. I would watch this on no lower time frame than the hourly time frame, because the lower time frame is probably going to come out erratically, and it's going to be candles and look like big candles are going everywhere. But overall, you ain't really doing too much, just expanding the range. But definitely wait for price action to close above a higher time frame confluence though. So pretty much what I'm looking for. GJ. Who's on the GU? GU big bullish. GU big bullish. GU big bullish. But GU was also difficult to identify. Well, not difficult to identify on higher time frames. It was more or less once you identify on the higher time frames, it bumped down to the lower time frames. It looked like the structure is already broken. But on the higher time frames, as you can see, liquidity is grabbed looking left, with the high and then the 4-hour low. Price action is trending higher, making higher highs and higher lows. Like I said, what you can see over here is price action closed above that 4-hour resistance and pull right back in. So on a higher time frame where you have a liquidity grab, this looks like a fake out down on this time frame. And currently, you have a 1-hour resistance, 1-hour support right down here. So on GU, what I would do is wait to see if we have any retracement action going on right here. If we do, I want to see if how price action breaks through this level on the 15-minute chart. Short, smaller time frame support, so shouldn't be too strong. If we break through there, then potentially price action come back down to this 1-hour support to retest, and then you kind of make a decision from there. Does price action look like it's going to continue that bearish structure, or does it look like it's getting ready to reverse to go back bullish? Or we can potentially see price action break to the top side. If it does, I want to see break and continuation trades from up here only, because this action right here pushed above and came right back in. So the next time, if it breaks out, I want to push above, stay above, not come back down like it did here, and then potentially take buys once the structure shift back bullish on the 15 5-minute chart. Yeah. The shorts potentially could look something like, open, melt, retrace, come back to retest, some funky bullish price action and get back up out of there like that. Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot I was supposed to be dropping these into the group. So what we're gonna do is go back. So Bitcoin, how we got them lined out. Let's see, beep, beep, boop. It's my part, and I got what I want to. Let's see what we got a copy chart. Because the markets are about to get active, and we need to see what we're gonna look for. Bitcoin, GJ. Consolidating. Doing a whole bunch of nothing. A whole bunch of nothing. Sugar plum. Sugar plum, darling. GU. Yep. Let me see what GU gonna do. GU is funky. So if you ain't got experience, you don't have experience with GU funky price action, you better leave it alone, cause it's gonna slap you on the hand and you're gonna be upset. Ultimately, I don't like the way GU structure looks. I would not come to this chart and be like, oh yeah, I'm about to take off with this. This is about to give me some good price action. No, that does not look like good structure to give you good price action. Just to let you know that off rip before the market's even open. AU and NZD USD is all pretty much in the same predicament, because price action could melt from here and continue to go back bearish, or we could come back up here and create bullish structure and continue to go back bullish. It all depends on what happens. We was last on GU. Yep. So NU, pretty much same thing as GU and AU. We got supply from the daily that pushes into the demand on the daily, and now we're retracing into supply. Right now, we got 4-hour lows that pushes into 4-hour highs, and on a 1-hour chart, price action has broken through some liquidity right over here. You know how we like to do them liquidity lows. We know the type of candles we identify with price action, or we expect coming through when price action is breaking through those levels. So we kind of got the same thing from a higher time frame perspective right over here. So if price action does come back down, I could see how price action could just melt through that level, retrace, and then potentially have a short from that 4-hour support back into this daily zone right down here. I don't really trade in you, or I don't trade. I can't say I don't really trade you because I don't trade in you. So ultimately a waiting game on that, because I would like to see how we got above this 1-hour support or 1-hour resistance or below this 1-hour support. So yeah. Let me see. Copy that. Copy that. Well, not really possible buy, possible sell area here. Is more or less um allowing the market to open up, allowing it to respect or go where the direction it wants to go in, and then develop a trade idea from there. UJ high time frame bearish. Yep, for the last 3 weeks, making lower lows and lower highs. And what we can see from here is what we can see from here is the lower high that pushed into the lowest price action came back and retested and reacted bearishly. We did react bearishly back to the downside, but we haven't shifted any structure yet. So if we break through this 1-hour support, I will have a little bit more confidence that price action will have to get up and get up. It needs to get on back down here to 131, 540 level, 550 level. If not, it could bounce off this 1-hour support, retrace back into this 1-hour resistance / 4-hour resistance level, and then it will be up to you to make a determination of what price action is going to do from there. Because I wouldn't have a clue. I would wait and see what it wants to give out. Because yeah, right now these levels are looking kind of funky. We are at the opening of a new month, so that could have a lot to do with it. If I can get this move, I'm just leave right there. But yeah, ultimately, I'll wait to see if price breaks above and creates structure above 134,700 level, or if we continue bearishly, break through 132,482 and then target 131,550 level. Pushing over to gold. Gold, let me see, looking back, looking left. What we had identified a couple weeks ago was gold was bearish up until this point. We saw gold shift to structure on the lower time frames, 1 hour, 15-minute closing above. We had this level looking left as the daily level, that daily supply that pushes into the demand right down here. And what we see is current price action last week closed above that level, retracing, now it's currently going back bullish. So ultimately, things I would look for first, do we get the continuation buy set up to close above 1768? You do have a resistance looking left around 1772, but after you break above there, or if price action breaks above there, boy oh boy, nice little range all the way back to 1809. So potentially, if you keep going bullish, I'll look for a break continuation above that level. Going bearish, potentially could have a breakout sale below 1760 back into about 1755, 1750 areas. And then if we break below the 1750, you got nice little range back to the downside to potentially line up some short. But you know my motto, I don't trade gold. That's just how I would line it up, and that's how it looks to me. On the SPX, pretty much the same thing. Big bullish, big bullish, big bullish. We're able to identify the 4-hour support. We aren't quite able to identify the 4-hour resistance just yet because the candle is still bullish. We need to see a bearish candle close, identifying that resistance level to be able to mark that. But you can sort of do that on the 1-hour chart, since you do got a bearish candle close there. So that's where you have your 4-hour, your 1-hour resistance right there so far. So ultimately, what I would do, sit back and wait, definitely for a higher time frame development, because the next candle on S&P could break clean through this level. What you can see is equal highs. And you know what happens when we see equal highs most of the time? The candles breaking back through that level in the opposite direction, or big, big candle. So yeah, that's what I'll be waiting for on S&P. I want to see where the bearish candle produces, and then we'll come back and reanalyze midweek. So if you tune in tomorrow, you could get some insight on what SPX we're going to do for the week. Switching over, last but not least, NAS to 100, NAS to NAS. currently pushing bullish. Currently just broke above structure most recently broken. It's kind of the same thing as SPX. So we were able to get that 4 hour support idea marked up. But I mean, even over here, you don't even have a 1 hour bearish close to the top side just yet. So definitely want to let this see how far this push. Trade idea here would be does the market create a bearish candle? I want to see at least a 4 hour candle bearish close first, but how far does the market push if it just continues pushing bullishly, and then based off of that retracement, how far does it come back down to potentially set you up, take buys from down here to retest this high, or if you can go even higher back up into 13,540 area. We're looking for price to ultimately end up for the week. Yeah, I know this probably got a little tongue tied teetering up in there because it was kind of difficult to get out. But overall, that's just my perspective of the week. That's what I'll be looking for throughout the week. Looking to go live again tomorrow. Bust down AU. That's just been my baby mom lately. GJ been on the back end because she was acting funny, and lately I kind of been peeping over there to see how she looked. But overall, right now, I'm still kind of not really interested because that consolidated market is overall not just as interesting to me. When you come and look at the chart. So you do have a bearish trend leading off of last week, but you still are stuck within that consolidated market. So yeah, we'll see what's gonna happen. And then um we're gonna come back and we're gonna get active with AU here shortly. So market about to open up in about 30 minutes. I won't be looking to do anything about 30 minutes, but around about 7:30, yeah, we will be looking to get active. We will be looking to get active. I don't know if I go live now, not probably not, but yeah, right now I'm about to get something to eat. I had just ate, but I'm hungry again. So I'm gonna holler at y'all. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. If you got any questions, drop a comment. You know, otherwise, this has been brought to you by Big Booty Hoes ENT, Thick Witted Records. We appreciate you for joining our video broadcast systems. Thanks for watching. Come again.